Hello everybody and welcome to the final vlog about yeah, the season review vlog for Gravity Falls Season 2. So it's been quite a ride, I must say, and though I was on this ride only for about 2 months, which is considerably less than, well, majority of you, it still was quite a ride after all. Now, I'll just quickly recap my feelings about the whole show to keep this under 15 minutes. There's not much to say about the technical details that I didn't say in the first review vlog. The animation quality improved slightly. The animation wasn't drastically improved as with most other shows, but it was mostly just to keep it in line with the first season, so it doesn't look like a complete different show. Whereas, like with Higurashi, the season 2, which is called Kai, actually looks very different from season 1, at least animations-wise. But in Gravity Falls, like, the seasons actually blend together really well. Overall, though, the art style and the animation didn't change at all, which is natural, I suppose. Though in some certain situations, well, specifically with the Nightmare Fuel, the animation quality was a tad bit better than it was in the season 1. Understandably so. Music design was throughout both seasons. It was spectacular, so there's not much to say about that. The voice actors I found to be incredible, and they actually fit the characters really well. And I'm surprised about how many guests, like how many actually famous voices or people they got to do some guest voices. I found that to be rather incredible. And one of the most funny facts was that Bill Cipher himself was actually voiced by the creator of the show. Which is, I don't know, that's just a hilarious little fact. But then we'll get actually on with the story, and there's a lot to be said, but I suppose I don't need to talk with you. Now, I don't need to discuss the story specifically all that much, because it's so rather straightforward. I'll discuss what I actually thought about this series as a whole. While the series isn't as entertaining as a huge overarching story as animations usually are, in the manner that it's not something like the finale for me didn't get my blood pumping like something like the the finale of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It wasn't exactly as hyper, though it was a bit hyped up for me, maybe perhaps a bit too much. But still, it wasn't exactly the most hyper ending. Now, don't get me wrong, it was an amazing finale, but it wasn't something like... The show in general wasn't something like that was just purely enjoyment. It wasn't something that was just so freaking good that you need to watch it again. At least for me personally, so, you know, some people definitely enjoyed the show more than I did. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy the show. I certainly did. I really enjoyed the show. It was freaking amazing. The ride isn't still over. I have the shorts to go through. But the show has a special quality to it, which actually makes it a rather peculiar situation for me, because the show is definitely better the second time watching it through, when you can spot out all the hidden details. And it is certainly something that is valuable to go through slowly, and somewhere where you should actually go through it analytically and just really picking out all the minor details and foreshadowing in the show that have been from the very first season there. And that's one of the greatest strengths of it, and I don't think I know any other show that has done it. Or, well, discounting Higurashi, but Higurashi did it differently, so that's not exactly applicable here, but you know. So it's truly an interesting show in the manner that, though I didn't enjoy it as much as a lot of other people, and it isn't certainly... It might barely be in my top 5 at the moment. Barely. It certainly is a show that is certainly worth watching, rewatching, and rewatching again, and something that I will certainly go through on my own later on, because it is an immaculate creation. It is certainly a show that has been carefully crafted to be enjoyable no matter how many times you watch it. And that is the really much the beauty of it, that it has like these hidden details all screwed all around it. And even though it it definitely isn't a flawless show, it still is an amazing one. And even if you know all of the things, the references are always funny, and though they aren't exactly timeless, and they do rely on the references quite a bit, I don't really count that as a flaw for the show. Or rather, it's a choice. It's a choice by the designers, and I feel like it pays off, since they really do take full advantage of their references and all of those jokes. They really do have a lot of gimmicks in every episode, and they really do play up to those. And it's an interesting way to do it, since the fact that they change the episodes, they are radically different from one another. That kind of makes it, again, something that when you watch it for the first time, you definitely won't pick out the secret details there. And that really, again, pumps up the rewatching value. So, you know, it's freaking amazing. Admittedly, though, I perhaps did not enjoy the show as much as I could have. And that's possibly, most certainly, because I was doing a commentary of it. Which is regrettable, actually, because the show is certainly, like, amazing. It's not my favorite show, though, but that's kind of not a fair comparison, as it's definitely a personal opinion, so, you know. And I certainly do understand why people are so hyped about the show. While the ride for me was quite a bit shorter, for those who had to sit through it for 4 freaking years, it certainly was an amazing ride. Now, there are a lot of flaws in the show, though some of them are definitely design choices. But one of its strongest points are definitely the character interactions, as most of the characters are definitely flawed, and they are actually portrayed in every one of their characters are portrayed in a very positive light, and they do have flaws, and they do have interesting reflections upon actual people in real life, or rather archetypes, more specifically. So it certainly is an interesting show in that manner, and also does contain quite a bit of social commentary as well, which really does make it a useful tool for, well, this is always the mindset I come into shows, and that is, can I show this to children and use it as a teaching tool? And I certainly can use this show, though, again, it has some horrific imagery that I probably would not show to certain people before a certain age. But certainly, it's a show that I actually really highly recommend. It's perhaps I even recommend it more than Steven Universe, mostly because even though Steven Universe is at the moment my favorite show, it has a quite a bit more risque nature, and it deals with issues that are maybe perhaps quite a bit adult, shall we say. I feel like this is just more applicable and more of a continuous story that you can enjoy, and it certainly does tingle your fancy quite a bit. Like, it really does make you think about the mystery behind it, and it has this uneasy feeling of mystery behind it. And it still isn't over. There is the hidden message that I suppose I got like 5 notifications about that, which I actually should have mentioned in the freaking video that I did that on my own. I kind of went through the Bill's death message. But yeah, the show still has a lot of interesting potential to it, and there are still actually some hints that it's still not over. So, it certainly has been an interesting ride. Maybe not the best ride of my life, but certainly one worth going through, and definitely an enjoyable one, and something that I almost universally recommend to everybody. And it is certainly one of the most high quality productions that I've seen. I don't actually know any other show that has such a consistent art style and sound design. And though the characters sometimes might get on your nerves, that is specifically, it's made on purpose, so it certainly is one of the most consistent shows as well. So that's a huge plus to it. Yeah. Well, I suppose there's not much else to say. I enjoyed the show thoroughly, and though... Oh, right, I should probably talk about the finale. Now, okay, I need to mention Stan's death. While I felt that the sacrifice of Stan was a bit overshadowed by the fact that he regained his memory, I'll just quickly brush over that it was actually prefaced earlier with McGucket gaining back his memory in a way, and still it didn't come out of nowhere, and certainly since this still technically speaking was a Disney show, they did deserve the happy ending, and they couldn't really. I don't think Disney would have let them have such a sad ending, and even though I am a huge fan of tragedies, it's understandable why you want to end on a happy note. And it's a more light-hearted series anyway, so it would have been a really out of place for them to end it on a sad note. So I do feel like it actually is a deserved happy ending, and it's purposefully, like it serves a purpose, and it kind of needed a happy ending because they just got through the end of the world, so, you know, I don't mind. But I'll be moving on to the next series, which will be Steins Gate, taking the place of this show. And I'll be going through the shorts on a little extra list about some extra videos. So there will still be a few episodes or videos left of Gravity Falls to go through. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll hope you'll join me on another ride sometime soon. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day and stay awesome. Thanks for watching. Gammu out.